I can't wait to show you my toys.
Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're looking at the Neca 7-inch scale foam Space Jockey. This is from the 1979 film Alien. This is not a new Neca release by any means. I personally got mine in January of 2017. That is a better part of 3 years ago. I've had a lot of subscribers and viewers request for me to review this thing. This thing is a very, very nice piece, I must say so. I've also had a lot of people ask me how this thing holds up over time, so being that I've had it for 3 years, I can definitely speak to that. No issues whatsoever. I do recall Neca being asked how this foam item will hold up over time, and they said if it stays under normal temperature conditions, it should be just fine. I haven't really put it anywhere special. It gets warm, cold, humidity is pretty fine in that room. So in this video we will check out this diorama piece next to Neca alien figures. We will check it out compared with all other Neca alien dioramas, vehicles, and deluxe large-scale figures. This Space Jockey was only featured in the film Alien, but the chair that he sits in was featured in Alien, Prometheus, and Alien Covenant. So let's go and check out the packaging it came in. And so here's the box that this diorama came in. Notice it's very large. I put a Neca alien figure for size comparisons. I can only imagine what the mailman thought when delivering this. Notice it doesn't have a very good display box if you're an unopened collector. Simply a brown cardboard box with the Space Jockey information on the side. And then here's the box up close. It has details on measurements, weight, and a date code. It also has a description and a picture of what's inside. Once again, I can only imagine what the mailman thought when delivering this. Either he knew what it was and was like, hey, it's pretty cool, or he looked at this like, what the hell? Now before we dig in deep to the Space Jockey, I just want to take a quick peek at it from all 4 angles. Here it is, its right side. This is the side that has the chest burster hole in the Space Jockey creature. Here it is from a frontal view shot. Here it is from the left side. This is a little bit more cleaner look at the Space Jockey. His chest is intact from this side. And then here it is as it looks from the back side. And then here's the bottom of the Space Jockey. You can see it says Fox Neca 2016. It is made of sort of a softer material here. That way if you put it on a wood surface or glass, it won't scratch it if you slide it around. Something I definitely appreciate. And then here it is. Just look at all the detail in this thing. Massive, massive. It just looks really, really good. So you can see the hole in his chest, his face there, the mask, the fossilization. Huge, huge, giant arms sitting in his pilot's chair. Just the detail on this thing is absolutely amazing and exquisite. This is definitely a holy grail piece for any Neca alien collector. If you have the space, get this thing. It is great. Next, I would like to show you where I keep this thing when it's not in use. My alien and predator area is kind of in disarray, as you can see all the aliens piled up right now. I have these sort of display stand things back here, and that sort of supports it and gives a nice little home when it's off duty. I imagine besides the price, the size of this thing is going to hold a lot of people back from purchasing it. And then as you can see, works out pretty good in this little area I have designated for it. Now I must say, this thing is extremely expensive. The retail price I've seen is approximately $300. I ended up getting mine from DCB service, discountcomicbookservice.com, for like $270 or $265, something like that. But after taxes and shipping, it was pretty close to that $300 mark. I always pictured that these would be on clearance years down the road because it's such a huge, expensive piece. Don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous, but it's a lot of money for an action figure diorama. But honestly, I don't think I've really ever seen this on clearance anywhere. So I'm glad I didn't wait out hoping for that to be the case. Now I will have to tell you, my first thoughts when I first opened it was big disappointment. And I must say that is not the ultimate case. When I first started handling this thing, it was just sitting in the box, maybe some styrofoam around it, no actual traditional action figure packaging. Pull it out, start touching it, and I know it's foam, but I didn't realize it was going to be mushy, kind of like foam is. The whole thing is kind of like that, very flimsy, flexible. You could probably rip this off with complete ease. The entire thing you can kind of push in. As you can see here, I mean, it's not that cheap kind of foam. It's, I'm sure, very expensive, probably the kind of stuff they use for movie props, etc., etc. But I was a little bit put back by that at first, but then after a little while, just looking at it, I fell in love with this thing. And this long part as well, as you can see, you can push in, not a lot, just a little bit here. I mean, the whole thing just a little bit flimsy. I don't like how it's kind of soft. I mean, there's something inside of here. It's just the edge pushes in. You can kind of probably barely see it on there. So this diorama doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't have any action features per se, besides looking gorgeous and being a great display piece from the first Alien film. The Space Jockey itself was always a shroud of mystery from the film. What is this alien creature? There's a whole other alien species besides the xenomorph. But clearly the xenomorph did come out of him, as his chest isn't bursted out of. So let's go ahead and look at the measurements of this guy. So looking at his base here, from front to back, it's sitting at just about 19 inches wide. From the longest point at the top here to the base, we're sitting at 32, 33 inches. Then if we're looking at the height of the Space Jockey in the back here, about 12 and a half inches. Then if we wanted to look at the height of the other side, sitting at about 21 inches. Next, let's check out the size of this thing compared with some 7-inch Neca alien action figures. These are a few figures from the first film. We've got Ripley in her jumpsuit, Ripley in her spacesuit, and then the alien, the big chap from the first film. The Ripley in the jumpsuit is probably around 7 inches, the alien around 8.5. As you can see, the Space Jockey part is a good twice as tall as Ripley, and then the far right tallest area is at least 3 times taller than Ripley. This thing is large, massive, and scaled perfectly with these guys. And then here it is with the entire NECA 1979 Alien collection. This year, 2019, is the 40th anniversary of this film, and they are celebrating by giving us a bunch more figures. We have 3 confirmed so far, being Brett and Parker, as well as an ultimate big chap coming out. Can't wait to get those. And really can't wait to find out if we're going to get more than that as well. Really hoping maybe we'll get a Dallas and Lambert in their jumpsuits. The fact that they've made them in their spacesuits tells me that NECA has already acquired the license rights for those actors. So, here's for hoping. Next, let's check out a brief clip of the Space Jockey from the film. Very similar to what's going on right here.
What do you got? Well, see what you make of this.
And then just like in the film, here's a close-up of his face. As you can see, quite creepy indeed. Next, I would like to talk about the Space Jockey, the engineer, and the retcon they've made over the years. So in the original Alien film, there were 3 different species. We had the humans, the xenomorphs, and then the mysterious Space Jockey. Of course, after you watch the original Alien film, all you're thinking about is the horrible, disgusting, terrifying xenomorph. You pretty much forgot about this other alien species. But if you rewatch it, you're kind of like, oh, that's interesting. They never really explained that. And they kept it a mystery for many years. That was sort of the appeal of Space Jockey. You didn't know what it was, where it came from, how it had been there for thousands of years, etc., etc. A little bit of interesting trivia. In that clip earlier, you saw the crew of the Nostromo climbing up to look at the Space Jockey. They actually use children in that scene, so they don't have to build quite as big of a set. Now, in the original Alien, it seemed like the space jockey had been there for thousands of years. It seemed like he was an absolute giant, standing at 15 to 20 feet tall. Just looked like he was huge. Then, of course, many years later, Prometheus comes around. They never explained the space jockey in Alien 1, 2, 3, 4. Didn't even touch an AVP 1, 2. But Prometheus decided to dig in and pull the bull by the horns. They made the space jockey 8 or 9 feet tall. Quite a bit different than he was portrayed in the original Alien. A lot of people really, really hate that retcon. And I must say, when I first watched Prometheus, I was not fond of it either. But I've had many years to sort of accept it. It's a welcome addition to canon, the whole engineers. And while we're on the subject of engineers, let's go ahead and check this thing out compared to my entire engineer collection and accessories. Here's the space jockey next to a couple of engineers, one in his pressure suit, one out of it, and these guys are a little bit taller than the Neca humans, but not by too much. You can see a huge size difference with the space jockey in the background compared to the engineer in the front. As you can see, here's an up-close shot of the space jockey. You can see this is really just the upper part of his torso, his arm going down to here, so it's probably his waistline around here. Here he is compared with a Neca engineer from Prometheus. I would say it's about accurate. This is about the scale they were portrayed in that film, and this is the scale they were portrayed in the original Alien film. Here's an engineer mask that came from the Prometheus Deacon figure. You can see how much smaller it is than the space jockey head or helmet, depending on what you believe. And then here it is next to my entire collection of engineer figures. I do love army building. I do love the fact that in this big shared universe, at least action figure wise, we've got humans, aliens, predators, engineers, whole armies fighting each other. Here it is next to a custom engineer head, very giant size, kind of like seen in the movie Prometheus. They had giant engineer heads in their temples. Like I said, this is a custom thing. I got this one off eBay for what I consider to be a pretty good price. It was a little under $100. It is a little bit damaged, but pretty cool addition for my engineer collection. And then here are a few more engineer type accessories. We've got 2 of the engineer severed heads with removable helmets. We've got an engineer skull in the middle that came with the Predator Ahab, who was an engineer hunter. And then we've got an engineer weapon at the front, which also came with Ahab. And then here's this space jockey set with my entire engineer army and collection. We've got the large engineer head in the back. We've got 9 engineers in the middle. We've got 29 engineer ampules below. And then we've also got the engineer helmets, skull, and weapon at the front there. Now these ampules, kind of cool story how I got them. The smaller kind did come with the holographic engineers, and I was really excited to get them. I wish all my engineers came with them. I would have had 9 if that were the case, but of course they didn't. I looked online eventually and found someone who made casts of the one that came with the holographic engineer, and I bought a bunch of those. Then I also found someone who was selling 3D printed versions, the kind of large one I have, and I got several of those. In the film, not all the ampules were the same size, so this works perfect for my engineer army. Now that we've looked at it next to a bunch of engineers, now let's check it out in an Alien 1979 type situation. Here's the Space Jockey diorama sitting on a hexagon-shaped table that I have. I use this table as just sort of a building in my action figure world, but the Space Jockey fits on here pretty nicely. You can see the Lambert, Dallas, and Kane all exploring the derelict ship, and of course they've got the eggs below it, just like in the film. And then just like in the film, you can see Kane using his harness to lower himself down to the egg chamber. And then of course, here's Kane letting curiosity get the best of him, wanting to figure out what these eggs are all about. And then of course, it opens up and Kane has to stick his face in there to see what's inside. It seems like there's always somebody in the Alien film willing to stick their face into an egg. Of course, there's something inside and it's coming out. Happening too fast for Kane to do anything about it. And here it is, the beginning of the end of Kane. And here's Kane lying with his helmet melted off and a facehugger attached to his face. I always wondered how Dallas and Lambert were able to get Kane all the way back up the shaft with the harness, get him all the way back to the Nostromo. At least they were smart enough not to touch the eggs. Next, I would like to compare with all the different dioramas, vehicles, and oversized deluxe figures that they've made for Alien and Predator. This is definitely by far the largest piece that could complement your NECA collection. Now, there are no other dioramas from the film Alien. I'm hoping eventually maybe we'll get one of the cryosleep chambers or something along those lines. And then, of course, for Aliens, we've got plenty of oversized figures. This here was from when McFarlane had the license. This is the Alien Queen. Came with an absolutely great diorama with a cocooned victim. And then years later, NECA also made their version of the Alien Queen. Here it is standing on its most upright position, almost as tall as the tallest part of the Space Jockey. And then for Aliens, NECA also made the Power Loader, which is a very nice deluxe vehicle. They also made this Hadley's Hope diorama that came with the Burke 2-pack. Here it is next to the Alien Resurrection Queen and Newborn. Here it is next to an Alien Red Queen from the Dark Horse Comics Aliens Genocide. Here it is next to a couple of xenomorph specimens in Wayland Yutani storage containers. These are not NECA products. I bought these from a website called the Bradford Exchange. They're pretty cool for what they are, but a little bit smaller than I would have liked. Here it is next to a Predator Blade Fighter vehicle. This was one of their few attempts at a Predator vehicle. I don't think it did very well, so I doubt we're going to get more of those. And it might be a little bit ridiculous, but I ended up getting 8 of these, and I wall mounted all of them on top of my Predator collection. You may think, why the hell would you have ever gotten 8 of these? I got these things marked down at ToysRUs.com for $19 each. Cheaper than a single Predator figure, so why would I pass that up? Here it is next to a NECA Predator trophy wall from Predator 2. Here it is next to the Ultra Deluxe Upgrade Assassin from the film The Predator. Quite a bit taller than your standard Predator. Here it is next to a Bone Throne. This is a Predator throne for a clan leader that's made from the remains of a hunted down queen. Here it is next to a couple of Predator pillars from Alien vs. Predator. Now there's a whole bunch of really cool stuff you can do with these AVP pillars. Here are 6 of these NECA pillars with a bunch of McFarlane AVP accessories, a bunch of corpses, and a centerpiece for the tomb, the sacrificial tomb in the Alien vs. Predator film. Here it is with a swarm of aliens crawling all over it. No end to the possibilities of how you can display this thing. So as you can see, there are a lot of display options, a lot of different dioramas that we have received for our Alien and Predator lines. This thing here is just short of a masterpiece. It looks gorgeous, sleek, it's detailed great, painted great. I was a little concerned when I heard it was going to be foam. I've had this thing for 3 years. It has not deteriorated at all. It's kept in a corner of my collecting room. The room normally stays at pretty normal temperatures, between 65 and 75 area. This thing is not perfect. I was definitely disappointed with the sort of sponginess to it, but it doesn't hinder from the appearance at all. I would have preferred it to be hard plastic, but I guess that would have cost a whole bunch more. Now that Neca has released this, it's almost like they tested the waters. I wouldn't mind seeing some foam hive walls or a foam egg sac for the queen. Maybe even some foam derelict walls, some foam corridors. Stuff like that could be really cool. If I were to rate this figure, I'd give it an 8 out of 10, and that is a pretty high rating in my book. The fact that it's so expensive should bring that rating down, but this thing is just gorgeous. It's a holy grail for your NECA alien collection. Not too many people seem to have this. It looks great, complements the figures nicely. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.